Rosemary assaulting Asuka backstage. The return of the Vigilante Sting. Marty Scurll ain't here for one reason tonight, and it's because of that man. It will be Sting versus Marty Scurll for the World Heavyweight Championship. He knows Marty Scurll ain't in the arena tonight, but come next week at No Way Out, he will be. And he will be standing across from that man with the world title on the line. Hello and welcome Universe Mode and to an episode that we may actually be able to call Monday Night Raw. It really does depend on time, but pretend like it is. Nevertheless, let us get right into this episode of Raw, the last episode of Raw for the series of 2K18 Universe. We are counting down the days, of which there are 6, until No Way Out, until the finale of this series of Universe. And last week, it was revealed some big things are happening heading into that finale, especially on the Monday Night Raw roster. We learned that Sting will face Marty Scurll for the World Heavyweight Championship. And tonight I will have more news in regard to the second title match on the card a little bit later on. But as you see right there, the main event of the evening, if you remember back to last week, Curtis Axel was promised one last opportunity to prove himself. And Constable Dredge said, "I'll get you that guy and you'll know by next week." Well, that guy has ended up being the World Heavyweight Champion himself, Marty Scurll. Scurll versus Axel in the main event of this evening. You better believe it is the final week for Curtis Axel as a Monday Night Raw superstar. And you've got to imagine that Scurll has something to prove after 2 weeks ago when he was laid out in this ring, courtesy of the Stinger himself. That much is for certain. What a night we're in for, though, with Monday Night Raw action. I would argue near enough every match, top to bottom, is going to be a damn good one. And we're going to start things off from the very top here on this last Monday Night Raw of 2K18 with Jay Lethal against Lars Sullivan. Well, after 2 weeks of Lars Sullivan defending his United States Championship, that seems to have been put on hold here tonight, as he will be going one-on-one against this man here, Jay Lethal. Good opportunity for Lethal, though, to prove himself. Of course, he was knocked out in the US title tournament by, I believe it was Cassius Ohno, if I remember correctly, who of course had to go on and face Lars Sullivan at Payback to eventually end up losing the US title. Oh no, he's here again! He's here again! He did this 2 weeks ago with Bobby Roode, and he's going to do it again here tonight. Lethal is none the wiser. And Lars Sullivan is pointing at Lethal. There we go. There we go. Now we're underway here. On the outside, prematurely, Lars Sullivan jumping to an extent, Jay Lethal. And the fight is on in the crowd. Well, the fight is on at the ringside right now on this last edition of Monday Night Raw. The US champ proving himself. Well, the US champ, well, just going right after Lethal, sending his back into the barricade there. And this match hasn't even had the chance to get underway because Sullivan wants his names in the headlights again. Sullivan wants attention. He wants people to be talking about him. People talking about what he did here on Monday Night Raw. Lars Sullivan trying to go after Jay Lethal right now, but counters here from Lethal is making it difficult for the US champ to do that. What I was going to say is this match is non-title, and Lethal may very well be happy about the reality right now. Lars Sullivan getting underway at 100 miles an hour. Jay Lethal can't even bring himself back up to his feet yet. Meanwhile, Lars Sullivan is just carrying him around, doing all the work here to tear apart the self-proclaimed best first-generation wrestler that ever lived. Oh, good God, what a punch there. Just a full-on, flat-out punch from the Freak. And you can tell things aren't looking up right now for Jay Lethal, much the same how they did 2 weeks ago when the exact same thing was done to Bobby Roode. Canna though, forearm in the face by Lethal. Could be a fight on here. No, there's not. Stop there. And Sullivan again now. Gonna go after those ribs of Lethal, as he does with every opponent he fights himself in the ring with. An aggressive start from Lars Sullivan to be expected, but Lethal is going to try here and fight back. Lethal is going to try and inflict pain on Sullivan right now. Figure 4 applied, as if it's some kind of final front here for Jay Lethal, because Sullivan is already putting a beating on him. reverses the figure 4 around there, and Lethal has to be the one to try and scamper his way out of it. Both men getting up to their feet now. And Lethal in. Irish whip off the ropes, and a shoulder tackle brings down the US champ. Oh man, this could be a great chance for Jay Lethal. He just needs to stay on the money here. Needs to stay on the US champ, because this is an opportunity for him to prove himself. This is an opportunity for him to be finding himself right in the talk for the US title, but all just thrown across the ring there by Sullivan like he was nothing, and now might be put down like he was nothing. Freak accident by Sullivan. 1, 2, 3. Lars Sullivan wins it again. The United States champion with one last big win. Heading out of this series of Universe. Sullivan exploded onto the scene at the start of 2018, and now to end this part of the year. Oh no, I was gonna say he ends it with the US title, but he isn't done yet. Sullivan still has more to go. Sullivan wants to put everyone on notice, heading into the new series. Slamming down Jay Lethal there. Lethal now, well, he's out of it. He is out of it, but Sullivan isn't done. Diving headbutt there from Sullivan. And now, to finish off, the last piece added to the puzzle. Lethal hit with another freak accident. Sullivan has put everyone on notice. Another opponent crumbles to the wrath of the freak. Who's going to be left to fight this man? I mean, good God, a almost tyrannical way to kick things off here from Lars Sullivan. Much the same as he's done from the very start. Just find a target and go for him. Yeah, I don't really know what to make of it, but think about it. Oh no, Rude, Cesaro, Goto, and now Lethal added to the list of people just beaten down by this man. It just makes you think, just who is going to stop Lars Sullivan at this point? Who dares wins, I guess. But nevertheless, we're going to move into our next contest here. It is Emma against Asuka, the match we would do last week. We are getting here tonight. Two big things to talk about right now in this very moment. One, this will be Emma's last match in this universe, for the time being anyway. Emma said she would rather go off on her own way, perhaps try and explore other possibilities, perhaps try and make herself a better wrestler, and then return to this universe at a later date if she is able to. So we wish her the very best of luck with that one. And two, I can confirm, Constable Judge, let me know, and we'll be hearing later in the night as well from the Raw Women's Champion, Rosemary, that at No Way Out, Rosemary versus Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship is on the line. The more you know there. Getting that one out of the way after the attack that we saw last week from Rosemary on Asuka. The match was made, and we are going to get it this Sunday, live streamed between Rosemary and Asuka for the title. But here tonight it is Emma against Asuka, and Asuka coming right out of the blocks here against Emma. She'd want to go out on a high for a final match, but she's going to be needing, the best of luck really in that one. Asuka has been on a roll these last few weeks and months, really. I mean, the tournament was where she really proved her worth, and since then, Asuka's just been picking up those wins, bits and pieces here and there, and heads into No Way Out with a chance to be the Raw Women's Champion, chance to stop the 9-month reign now of Rosemary as the champion. But here goes Asuka on Emma. This is with the attempted grab there off the ropes. Now look at that. Hip toss there. Misses with the kick. Emma from behind. Back suplex. Very well executed. Like we said, Emma is not quitting. So it's parting on mutual differences. It's good, there's still good relationships between the two. Emma is more than welcome to make a return to this universe whenever she feels like it's time. But she wants to broaden her horizons. She wants to become a better in-ring wrestler. And then perhaps she'll get another crack at the big leagues. But right now, Asuka, who is one of the peak wrestlers in the women's division, is going to do her very best here. And Asuka is just sending her message right now to the Raw Women's Champion. Rosemary may well be speaking later on tonight, but Asuka is the one in action right now. Knees into the back repeatedly, reverse DDT as well. This is great stuff from Asuka. This is what is going to make Asuka such a tough opponent this Sunday for Rosemary to contend with. They have not faced, which I find oh so interesting. So many people have been decimated by Rosemary on this roster. Asuka is not one of them. It's like we've been brewing to this match for the longest time. It's like she's gone through everyone else, and now there's Asuka left. What a drop kick there from Emma, though. Credit where it is due. She is going out swinging here in her final contest. Counter there by Asuka, though. Oh, and Asuka now. Not going to let Emma get a move in on her. Has the arm applied now. Armbar stitched in. Asuka could have her right where she wants her. Could be on the way for victory via tap out. No. Emma risking herself there. Her arm stretching to a huge extent. But she hangs on in there for the time being. Emma now. Irish whip. In the turnbuckle goes Asuka. Kick down. Is she going to go for the Emma Mite sandwich here? She might very well do. Oh, she misses it. Asuka knew it was incoming and was able to evade it. Tornado DDT now from the Empress of Tomorrow. And the Empress is looking to prove herself. Heading into... Oh, here we go. Heading into No Way Out. One last time. Emma's going to find herself in the Asuka lock and may very well have no way out. Pun intended. But to tap out, will she? Yes, she will. Emma submits. Asuka wins. And that is all you need heading into this Sunday for Asuka. The victory sustained for her there, and we wait to see what happens this Sunday between Rosemary and Asuka. The bad blood is there already. The 9-month reign of Rosemary is at stake as well. And the big question to ask is who? If Asuka can stop it. And if she can't, it's much the same as Lars Sullivan's reign. Who can? Whichever way it goes, I am excited. I am geared up and I am ready for that match this Sunday between Asuka and Rosemary. That's going to be a great way for the Raw Women's Division to put their name out there in what is going to, of course, be the final episode of this series of Universe. But one title that won't be defended at No Way Out is going to be the Raw Tag Team titles, the World Tag Team titles, which are set to have American Alpha versus the Revival on them, will be defended at a later date. That later date is potentially next week, maybe a little bit down the line, I'm not too certain. What I do know though, here tonight, coming up next, Chad Gable is going to go one-on-one against Scott Dawson. I may not have the finalized date in terms of when American Alpha versus the Revival is going to be, but what I can say for certain is that these teams are ready. They're ready to prove themselves, they're ready to fight once more for the tag team titles, and I am ready to watch them fight for the tag team titles along with it. Coming out first, of course, is the challengers, American Alpha, most notably Chad Gable, and we wait to see what will happen here. Chad Gable, of course, along with Jason Jordan, became the number one contenders to the tag team titles last week following their victories over Magnum Opus, which I think will keep Magnum Opus out of the tag division for just a little while longer while they wait to, they have to build and improve upon themselves. Right now, I think we are looking at the two strongest teams in the division. I think we're looking at the two teams with the biggest momentum in this division right now, and I think we're looking at the two teams that whenever they're destined to fight, it's going to be just a very tough matchup, whichever way you look at it. You know, it's a matchup that can go either way, and it was proven in the first conflict they had for the tag team titles just before SummerSlam how tough it really is for the Revival and American Alpha to get the victory over the other. These teams seem to know each other so well. They seem to be perfect matches for the other in terms of in-ring action. But of course, it is the Revival who have those tag team titles around their waist, as they have since July. And I think that is just something of it's something so much of note that it's just very entertaining to witness these two teams getting ready for their showdown. And I'm excited for it whenever it is, but I'm excited for this match as well between Gable and Dawson. Two, certainly, you know, tag team athletes being put in a situation which they might not be the most comfortable with, in all fairness, because, you know, it's a tag team match, it's a singles match, there's no tag outs to be made, they've just got to win by their own abilities. And so here we are underway between the two. They may be fighting for the second time for those tag team titles, but there's no bad blood between either side. There's just the intention of wanting to be the best. We saw that heading into their first title matchup, and we see it now heading into their second one. Big question is, as they head into their second one, who's going to stop them? You know, if the Revival win, and I know I've said this a lot tonight, but who's going to stop them? As they head into the second title match, what has American Alpha learned from their defeat? How can they combat that loss just before SummerSlam and compare it to now, when arguably the Revival have been getting stronger and better as a tag team? Their dominant victories over both the Stagehands and Magnum Opus really asserted themselves as surefire tag team champions, definitive as to how they were the team to take the titles away from the Good Brothers back at Bad Blood, and held on to them ever since then. Chad Gable right now not looking the freshest, looking like he's in trouble here, and Scott Dawson thinking tactically, taking the leg away from Chad Gable, taking the speed away from Gable, grounding him, which may still work in Gable's advantage, all fairness, given the mat wrestling and amateur wrestling that Gable possesses. Elbow down onto the knee of the Olympian. 2012 Olympics, I believe it was the Chad Gable competed in. Nice drop kick there from Scott Dawson. Turns him round here. That is a gorgeous German suplex by Dawson. Great bridge, and only a 1 count. Some of the Revival's actions in ring have got it, you know, well, not in ring, out of the ring really, when there isn't a match, can be a little bit frowned upon, I suppose, for lack of a better term. But one thing is for certain, and that is that whenever they are in the ring, they are fine tag team machines. And just as wrestlers, I've got to appreciate them. I got to enjoy them for everything that they can do. Chad Gable now going to look for a suplex here. Scott Dawson able to stop him, striking the gut there. Dawson now turning him around, rolling up Gable, trying to get the better of him here. Will this pan out? No. Gable able to kick out. Forearm there, and hard punch right in the face to go with it as well by Scott Dawson. One more as he got in store here. Hammerlocks him in, lariats him down to the mat as well. Things are not looking good for American Alpha in terms of a basis as to how they can compete over the Revival. Great leg drop though from Chad Gable. What else can he get going now? Gable's starting to move a little bit faster here. The cog's starting to turn in him. Snap suplex connected with it. And when Gable starts moving, you better believe it's going to be tough to stop him. The speed this guy possesses is incredible. Gable, moonsault stopped. There we go. That is how you stop him, I guess. Lovely lariat there from Scott Dawson. The Revival 2-time tag team champions. American Alpha 1-time NXT tag team champions. But they held on to those titles for a whopping 7 months when they were the champions, before losing them to Sanity at the start of this year. Since then, went to Monday Night Raw, and they have made a big impact over the last 4 or so months. Irish Whip. Gable stops himself in the ropes. Not every day you see something like that. Dawson sent it to the turnbuckle now. Gable thinking tactically here. He's trying to put this man off his game. Flying forearm and whiffed on it. Oh, but this is going to hurt. He's going for the arm, and he is wrenching on that arm bar, applying great deals of pressure to Scott Dawson. It doesn't matter who you are, that move always finds a way to hurt. Took a little while to get back in the ring though, and Scott Dawson now can turn things around. No way. No way would Dawson risk something like this. No flips, just fists. Prevented anyway. Gable now. Oh my goodness. Cannonball from the top rope there. Cover on Dawson. Trying to put things away here. And a kick out at 2 by Scott Dawson. And it's not looking all that great for Scott Dawson right now, has to be said. That cannonball sent on could have been the beginning of the end. Wilder looking on, not intervening on behalf of his tag team partner, something I would expect from the Revival in all fairness. Here we go, double underhook suplex into the armbar now. Dawson kicks his legs around, and makes his way to the ropes. Oh, but the arm of Scott Dawson's going to get worked down on once again here. Chad Gable in, and he's going to stomp right down on that arm. Picking him up now. Chad Gable getting countered, brought back in. Backbreaker by Scott Dawson. And Dawson now starting to run out of options to try and beat Gable here. Covers him. Kick out at 1 by Gable. That's got to be quite demotivating to have a kick out that early. Irish whip. Duck under by Dawson. Back elbow by him as well. Oh, that was aggressive by Scott Dawson. But still, he needs to apply the finishing touches here, as does Chad Gable. The title's on the line in this match, but getting momentum and getting under your opponent's skin heading into that match most certainly is. And Gable going to look to do the finest job he can, sending him into the Revival's corner technically, as Dash Wilder standing there. And here we go, Chad Gable going to send him into the turnbuckle, rolls through, German suplex, bridge made, and Wilder intervenes, and Dawson was beat. Dawson was beaten there. He wasn't kicking out at all. Up to the top rope now goes Chad Gable. Elbow drop by Gable. I think any move he could look for now, in all honesty, could end this one. As that German suplex should have. It should have ended it. Drop kick in the side of the head now, and Chad Gable perhaps wishing that he had put things away, perhaps wishing that Dash Wilder didn't intervene when he did, because it could all have been over. Oh, here we go. He will try again, though. There's the armbar. There's the armbar on Dawson. He's done work on the arm, and Scott Dawson taps. Dawson taps. Gable wins it for American Alpha. Chad Gable gets the win for American Alpha, heading into the title matchup. And they know what is at stake. They know that next week they've got to work together. Right, I said next week. I have no idea. I might just be... I'm making a big estimation there. Whenever the title match is, they've got to work together to win those titles. And that is exactly what the Revival have in spades at the same time. The ability to work together. This is a match that can definitively go either way. I said at the start, and I still say it, despite Chad Gable's victory. I still think it can go either way. I'll just have to see if that ends up being the case or not whenever that title matchup is. Let's move on to our next part of the evening, though. It's not going to be the in-ring action. We are going to be hearing from the Raw Women's Champion, Rosemary, right now. Oh, here she is. The Raw Women's Champion making her way towards the ring. You got to imagine she saw what happened earlier on this evening with Asuka, but you also got to imagine that Rosemary isn't someone who cares all that much. She is someone who lets her hive mind lead the way. She focuses on herself rather than anyone else. And to be fair, that has proven pretty successful for the last 9 months as the Raw Women's Champion. And Rosemary is getting right into discussing Asuka. The title match is this Sunday. Her queen and her hive and her queen are waiting the arrival at No Way Out. They are waiting to embarrass this Empress once more. They know, because they're referring to that hive mind of Rosemary, they know that a queen is far superior to an empress. Asuka can do whatever she wants in this ring, but we have proven for the last near year that nothing can stop us. Rosemary's hive has been unstoppable from the very get-go. Ask every woman on this roster, and after No Way Out, you can ask Asuka the same question. There's no intentions of stopping her. Sorry, us on that one. But as she looks and as she closes up this one, the hive will be waiting at Sunday. Bring everything you want, Asuka. Bring all the frilly attires you want. Rosemary and her hive will beat it out of you. They will stay. Asuka will decay, and the Raw Women's Championship stays with the Hive for now and forever. A chilling threat sent to Asuka. The hive mind of Rosemary is working at its fullest in order to make sure that she heads out of No Way Out with that title still around her waist. Asuka's in for a tough one. Well, there was that chilling message sent by Rosemary onto Asuka. I think it just adds more to the pot that is going to be this Sunday's match between the two at No Way Out. I cannot wait for that evening. This Sunday live stream. Everyone will be watching at the same time. Everyone will be watching simultaneously as the finale of this series comes its way and we gear up for the next series, which is, of course, going to be continuing on 24 hours after the events of No Way Out. Nevertheless, one man who certainly wants to have a series that is going to start far better than this one has been is this man, Cesaro. It has been a far cry from what the Cesaro we typically know has been able to pull off. I mean, you think about it. Cesaro went from being at the pinnacle, at the peak, challenging for titles, being the ECW champion, being a staple on the ECW brand, to falling apart so much that he ended up finding his way to NXT for a number of months. Did he reinvent himself there? Yeah, I guess you could say. He found himself again. He was able to turn himself back into that talent. And it's shown up in some matches here on the main roster. I mean, his match last week against Sullivan for the United States Championship was a fine one in its own right. And it really proved that Cesaro, along with the likes of a Cassius Ohno, have the chance to still make a name for themselves on this roster. Nevertheless, we gear up now for this one between these two. Of course, both suffered defeats last week, as I just said. Cesaro to Lars Sullivan for the US title. Roman Reigns to the number one contender for the World Heavyweight Championship in Sting. And now we await to find out what is going to happen between these two here tonight. It's very, very even split. Roman Reigns, of course, Mr. Money in the Bank, has that briefcase all the way up until June of the next year. So he's still got another 8 months with that briefcase, so long as he sees fit to hold on to it. And we await to see here tonight what will happen between these two men. Reigns is very well known now within this universe for picking up the wins over those talents of notes. You know, he's able to pick up the wins over some of the guys like a Jay Lethal, a Chad Gable, Shawn Michaels, Bobby Roode, Kofi Kingston, etc., etc. But it doesn't seem as if he can beat a big name, as he has shown. You know, he hasn't beaten CM Punk, Sting. Those kind of names are the ones that he lacks victories over, and they're the ones who are the most important for Roman Reigns if he wants to be the World Heavyweight Champion. If he wants to cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase successfully and go on to be the champion he expects himself to be. He can't be doing that if he's sustaining these losses all the time to the talents who are around that caliber. And Cesaro here tonight is going to try and give Roman Reigns a very tough contest, no doubt about it. Both these guys want to win here badly. Both these guys want to head into the next series of Universe with a win under their belt to make themselves and their, well, I was about to say their fans, but I'm not certain how many fans Roman Reigns has, very happy. Reigns starting aggressively there, hard punch, but Cesaro able to stop him, elbow to the pinpoint of the head. Cesaro, of course, a Triple Crown champion within this universe. What an uppercut in the corner there by him as well. Trying to unload away temporarily. Reigns able to stop him. What a headbutt he struck with there, but Cesaro can hang with some of the very best. He was ECW champion a long time ago for half a year. On top of that, he's a 3-time ECW Tag Team Champion, WWE Tag Team Champion, ECW Television Champion. Cesaro has accomplished an awful lot in this universe and wants to get himself back up to that upper echelon, beyond the levels of your Hiroshi Tanahashis, your Sting, your Daniel Bryans, your CM Punks, those kind of guys. But to do that, he's got to try and overcome a guy like Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns has to try and beat Cesaro to try and make sure that he's set when it comes to taking on those kind of guys in the weeks that will come by for Reigns. Cesaro having to get out of the ring temporarily there. Reigns, that was smart by Reigns. Wanted to go out of the ring, but knew that Cesaro might bring himself back in before he got out of the ring, and that is why he only went out to the apron. Smart taken there by Reigns. Cesaro, though, is able to retake control here. Snap suplex into a cover. Mr. Money in the Bank kicking out right away. Leg drop now, and Reigns hitting the mat. The leg of Cesaro coming down on Reigns, going to do some damage there. What a suplex there from Cesaro onto Reigns. Covers him, and again, Reigns able to kick out at one. Able to hang on in there. Cesaro countered. Amateur wrestling slam now by Reigns. Power necessary to pull off something like that is one thing. Reigns, Superman punch! I didn't even get a chance to finish my point before Roman Reigns comes striking in with a Superman punch and might be looking to end Cesaro right about now. Reigns going to lift up Cesaro to his feet here, belly to belly, and he gets it. Cesaro in the middle of the ring and has nowhere to turn to. Roman Reigns is going to line up here to end this right now. Reigns incoming. Spear to Cesaro. The sudden impact that spear can bring you. And is it enough to beat Cesaro here tonight? There's two. And Cesaro kicks out at two. Roman Reigns going to be wishing that wasn't the case. Applying a chin lock now onto Cesaro. Trying to force him to tap out. The frustration that he has. For that spear not being able to finish the job has to be paramount. But Cesaro keeps on going here. He has found a second wind within him. And he was just waiting to capitalize on it. In the corner now. Perhaps the worst place Roman Reigns could have found himself. Able to evade a vast number of uppercuts though. Cesaro sweeps the leg away there from Roman Reigns. And might try to look for it again. Sends Reigns into the turnbuckle. But he might also not have the energy in him. Reigns sent into the turnbuckle. Comes back. German suplex from Cesaro. The Swiss Superman still has something left in him here to keep on, keeping on, to keep the fire burning within him. Reigns able to stop it right now, though. Gut wrench suplex, and he'll nail it. Cesaro having no choice temporarily but to roll outside of the ring. He is taking a tough beating in this match. There is no doubt about that. Oh no, on the outside now with that belly to belly. Oh, a rough impact. Lifts him up to his feet here. Reigns now, though, not able to get what he wants. Great counter from Cesaro. Uppercuts him there. Cesaro, no way. Cesaro swing into the barricade for Roman Reigns. Wow. Ingenuity from Cesaro to pull off something like that. And now... oh my goodness. And now we're in for a spectacle. How he pulls this off after everything he has taken in this match, after all the offense he's taken is beyond me, but he's going to do it. A trio of deadlift, gut-wrench suplexes to Roman Reigns, and he gets them all. Pound for pound, one of the toughest around, and Cesaro might find himself with a huge win over Mr. Money in the Bank. Snap of the neck. Here we go. Neutralizer. Cover made. 1, 2. Reigns kicks out at 2. Oh man, Cesaro's going to wish that was the end, but it simply wasn't enough. And it keeps on going now between these two. Cesaro in with the uppercut. Went for the spinning uppercut there and missed it. Thumped in the back now. Reigns gonna have him here. Up on his shoulders. And a Samoan drop will connect. I don't know how Reigns did it either after being on the receiving end of so much onslaught, but he has found a way. But so too has Cesaro. Neither man kneeling for the other. Has him in. What a Cobra Clutch suplex there. And it's Reigns' turn to roll out of the ring. God, what a match. What a match this has been. These are two guys fighting for absolutely everything. Cesaro up on the top row. elbow drop into the back of Roman Reigns, and he'll go again now. The Swiss Superman will try once more. Calling Reigns up to his feet, looking to hit big. Cesaro, double axe handle down on Reigns. He thinks he has him. He sits down on the arm of Reigns and he locks in. Look at how far back Reigns' chin is, his neck as well, and his back just being crushed by that. But Roman Reigns still can get himself out of that move. Not for long though. Cesaro is able to counter. Roman Reigns though, look at the strength now. Schoolboy powerbomb by Reigns. Cover made. Will this do it? Cesaro says no. Oh, but this might. Roman Reigns in. Spear by Reigns. It's not just how suddenly he can strike with it, but how much force he can put in it as well. There's 2. There's 3. Reigns survives the onslaught from Cesaro and walks out with the win that he was seeking all along. Victory over Cesaro. Mr. Money in the Bank has another name added to his list as he sets his sights on the World Heavyweight Championship by cashing in that briefcase at whatever date he sees fit. There you have it. Reigns your winner. Of course, the question is, as we go on, when he cashes in, because you know what's going to happen, will he be walking out with the World Championship? That is an answer we still don't know. Let's move on to our main event of the evening, however. I don't know how this one's going to work, but it most certainly is. Coming up next, Curtis Axel has to fight for his Monday Night Raw career against the World Heavyweight Champion, Marty Scurll. You can already tell how this one's going. I don't really know how this is going to work, but here we go. Curtis Axel in the main event of Monday Night Raw. Whoever would have thought that would have been how we would be closing out this series of Universe. After all the great talents that have made their way through, it's Axel who gets the opportunity. He has to fight for his Monday Night Raw career against a Marty Scurll who is at a tipping point. Against a Marty Scurll who just wants to, I imagine, send his message back to Scurll. Return the message that Scurll was, not very happy, shall we say, to be on the end of when it happened 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, of course, on Monday Night Raw, Sting showed up out of the shadows, as he always does. And it was almost like he was called by Sting. Sting said there was no Vigilante to save them. There's a Vigilante, and he saved them. Marty Scurll laid out with a Scorpion Death Drop. Wasn't at Monday Night Raw last week. Claimed a minor injury. You make of that what you will. The easiest one to go with is that he was scared, and yeah, I'd side with you on that one as well. But now it seems Marty Scurll just wants to hurt someone heading into this Sunday. Heading into this title matchup against Sting. At No Way Out. He just wants to hurt Curtis Axel. And I think he's going to get his wish here tonight. World Heavyweight Champion as he has been by the time No Way Out will show up for the last 6 months. The longest reigning World Champion in the history of this universe sets out for his next big victory. Another hero to vanquish. Another person for the villain to rise above. He hopes it'll be Sting. As for tonight, oh, it's not going to go that well, is it? It is not going to be going that well at all for the man that is Curtis Axel. He has to fight for his career here, and this is how he has to fight for it. Against a, for lack of a better term, pissed off Marty Scurll. And a Scurll that cannot wait to hurt that man on the outside. It doesn't matter who is in Axel's position, Marty Scurll was always going to hurt them. It's just a shame that it has to be Axel. Ready yourself up, because here we go. Both men running at each other, but it's Marty who comes out with the clothesline, and it's Marty who begins his systematic beatdown now of Curtis Axel. Right away, exploding out here. Right away, just going with move after move onto Axel. He is in absolutely no mood to play around. He is in no mood to play games with. Marty Scurll looks infuriated. This is the side of the world champion that exists when the villain gets fired up, and Curtis Axel is only adding to the problems right now by trying to counter him, by trying to fight him. Irish whip from Axel here now. Wheelbarrow, German suplex. So he still has got some moves in him, but it's stopped there. Back rake from behind now. Backstabber to go with it. Marty Scurll just ain't interested right now. He just wants to end this. He just wants to hurt Axel and finish the deed. Counter there though from Axel. Still some fight in him here in the early goings. Oh, we're going to send the world champ face first into the mat. You would expect this one to be over by now, in all honesty. And this might be the rage that is blinding Marty Scurll, forcing him to make these kind of errors. Counter by Scurll there. Uh-oh, super kick right in the gut. Super kick stopped right in its tracks by Axel, who gets stopped though by Scurll. Down on the arm he goes. Stops him again, and Marty Scurll just coming out so aggressive right now. Oh, there's the super kick again, right in the face. Marty Scurll not messing around here. He just wants to end this one. He just wants to finish the deal, and he's going to right now. Crossface chicken wing applied on Axel. Axel's career shall rest right here. This is where it ends. Except, Marty Scurll just let him go. Scurll just let Curtis Axel go there. And Axel's going to try and fight back right now. Elbow right in the face, though. Running drop kick into the leg. Why did he do that? What was the reasoning for that from Marty Scurll? Axel sent over the top rope, now knocked to the outside. And Marty Scurll's demanding a microphone right now. What the hell is happening now? Scurll's got a microphone. And instead of doing the match, he's venting at Sting. And he's just venting at Sting right now, saying that 2 weeks ago what Sting did was disgusting. It was revolting. To target Scurll in that manner was awful. And Scurll is going to make an example of Curtis Axel right now to prove one thing to Sting. He is not afraid of him. But there's still a match going on, Marty. There's still, he's not done. Scurll continuing on by saying he's not afraid of Sting. He's not afraid of some 2-bit has-been. And he will show why now. He'll show why this Sunday. And he'll show everyone that Marty Scurll is the villain. The villain always wins. The Vigilante has come to pass. Long live the villain. What the hell is going on here? What am I? It's Sting! It's Sting! Sting from behind! Scorpion Death Drop! Scorpion Death Drop! Oh my god! This can't be happening! This cannot be happening! Axel! Axel covers Scurll! 2, 3! Axel just beat the world champion! What? You are kidding me! Curtis Axel keeps his job! And Sting is the reason why! I cannot believe it! I simply cannot believe it! Curtis Axel wins in the final match of the final Raw of this series of Universe. And it's because of Sting. Oh man, this Sunday, I can't wait for it.